Welcome back to Crafty Hints. I'm Chantel. If you're new here, please introduce yourself in the comments, and welcome back to my subscribers. It's a wintry day here, and so I decided to make a couple winter DIYs. Start off with this crate from the Dollar Tree, and I used some Waverly chalk paint. Here's a crafty hint. Just use some wax paper to cover your surface. It'll protect it. It'll also allow you to put some of your paint down so that you can paint with it and doesn't soak through or anything. So after I covered it with the Waverly Ivory, I went in with some of the mineral with a chip brush. So as you take the chip brush, it's just going to give it a little bit of a distressed look. You just want to go all over it and, pay attention to the edges and the corners because those are normally places that your item would get a little more wear. So we'll just go all over this crate. As you can see, it starts to give it that little bit of a farmhouse look, kind of distressed, like it's been around for a while. It's not brand new. So then I took this pick from Walmart. I actually have two of them. I got them on clearance after Christmas. You could definitely use some leftovers also, but it's a great way to make use of them moving from Christmas to winter. So I just took this all apart so that I could use each piece. I like this pick. It has, an array of colors. I don't buy too many picks, and that's why, gosh, I think I've got them for maybe like 50 cents at the most. So I put in a little bit of floral foam and just clip these down and start filling it in. It's just nice to add to your decor after Christmas so things aren't quite so empty. It's kind of nice if you're not ready to jump right into Valentine's Day. So we've got these different colors of green, little pops of white. You could even add a little bit of white paint to the pine pieces there, or any of them, I guess, to give it a little bit of a wintry feel. Now here I am taking that garland that I've been using all Christmas time and just took those to go around the bottom to cover up the rest of the foam. You could definitely use, reindeer or Spanish moss, but I like that pine to tuck in there and hold things in. And then I just have a couple of pine cones. And just to make sure everything's in right how it goes. I like to put my pine cones in like groups of 3. It just kind of draws your eye around kind of in, that triangle around it. And this is about done. See, so easy and pretty. Next, I'll be making this jar that you probably just saw in the last display as well. It's a great accent piece. I got these 2 jars at the Dollar Tree, and they come with a little faux snow and a snowflake hanging down the center. If you're enjoying, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up. So I just took another piece of a pick and took this evergreen. It just gave it a little bit of that ivory paint I've been using. And it'll just give it a little bit of that snowy effect. So I'll let that dry, and then these pine cones are just a little bit long for the jars. Did you know you can just cut down a pine cone? These mini ones are pretty easy to cut, so then just take off a couple of layers so that you make it look like you still have a stem at the top. See? Baby pine cone. And just take a little bit of that white paint so we can give it that snowy effect also. And I'll just do 2 of those for both jars. So then I took that and just am going to cut it in half. When I cut it in half, I want both ends to taper a little bit, so just snip a little bit of the ends off. And then this is just so simple. I'm going to take this twine and just wrap it around twice and tie a knot. As you can see, that snowflake's right in the center. Sometimes you have to move that tape inside the lid just a little bit. So a little bit of hot glue, and I'll just put that little pine sprig going to each side, and then the baby pine cone in the middle. And these just make a great accent piece, and you simply pop a tea light in the top. Again, super simple DIYs. There we are. See, and there's the next piece that we'll be making. So I got this Let It Snow sign at the Dollar Tree. You might have one in your stash. So I'm just giving a little bit of the ivory all over it. And I'm going to be distressing this a bit also, so it doesn't have to be perfect. We can have a few spots that we miss. And then we're going to be adding the same effect that we did to the crate in just a moment. But I did take this wooden snowflake and gave this a pretty good coat of the ivory. I wanted to make sure and just get this nice and covered. This will be covering up the other snowflake and giving it a bit of a 3D effect. All right, just touching up a couple of spots there now that that's a bit drier. Okay, that's about it. Just a few spots that needed touching up. And then I'm going back to my mineral. The mineral has just a little bit of a brownish gray color to it. So it's really nice to add to this. And I'm paying close attention to the edges. That's normally where you're going to get most of your wear on items. So getting those edges in there. And it doesn't have a ton, just a bit along the edges and across it. And now I found this tape at the Dollar Tree. It's made by Super Glue, and they're little glue tabs. They're foam glue tabs. So they're a little bit wide, so I just took my scissors and snipped them a little bit thinner for the snowflake. This will give it that 3D effect. It'll help it stick well. If you rub it down on there, it usually will stick pretty well. I didn't press these on really firmly, so when you go to take the stickers off, they might lift just a little bit. So make sure you just press it down, but they're fairly easy to take the backs off of. That one was really stuck with it. And then if you want, add a little bit of hot glue. That will give it that quick hold. And then that super glue will start adhering to the wood. Next, I'm just going to paint this in reverse. I'm going to go with my mineral over the box. And you can see you're going to want to pay attention when you purchase these. I noticed to one side of my box, the lines almost go diagonally. So pick the side that will work best for you. So you'll want to pay close attention how you distress it. Again, I'm going back in with the ivory this time to distress it. And the side with the straight lines, this one, will be the front of my box. Now I want to attach the Let It Snow. So it sits on there pretty well. I might have just raised it up just a little bit more so you could see the bottom of the words. But I do like how this turned out also. So if you want to see the full words, just extend it up just a little bit and that would work pretty well. I just really didn't want to see the sticks. So snip off anything that might be off the end there. They cut pretty easily with just some scissors. You could also paint the back of the sign if you wanted to and paint the sticks. So now I'm going to add some greenery. I put a little bit of foam in there. And this is a garland that I was going to discard after Christmas because it's starting to fall apart just a little bit. Goodness, I don't even know how long I've had it. But I thought, oh, crafting. So it went in the craft stash. So that will cover it. Instead of using moss, I can use that greenery. And this long pick I got at Michael's for, I want to say it was like 90% off. So it's got snow already to it. It has some baby pine cones. But then I see that my other greenery doesn't really have any white to it. So I decided to take the chip brush real quick. Let's add a little bit of snow so we get that winter scene. I am in Minnesota, so we have plenty of snow. Actually, it hasn't been too snowy this year. I hear we'll probably get some this weekend. The intro scene was actually filmed out in my backyard. So you can see the snowy trees. All right, you just keep kind of snipping it off there. And I thought I was going to use the burlap. And then I was looking at my stash. I remembered, oh, I've got this bell that has the perfect bow and some pine cones. So it was perfect. I just popped it off the top of there. And it has a little tie that was on there that attached it to the bell. That will attach it to my box. Added a little bit of greenery, and I decided, oh, better give it a little bit of snow also. So a little bit of ivory on here too. And then it just pops on the front of the box with a little bit of hot glue. Perfect. And then just a few pine cones in there. And touch up any areas that maybe you want a little bit more snow. These DIYs are super simple. I know that you can make them. I hope you've been enjoying them and that you will hit the like and the subscribe and the bell so you do know when I upload new videos. Isn't that pretty? And there's our accent candles as well. Well, plenty of more DIYs to come soon. So do like and subscribe, and I will see you soon. Thanks so much for watching.